Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to state on the record parenthetically that I find the use of time allocation as happening almost on a daily basis these days to be quite shocking. I know that the current government in opposition, the Liberal Party, promised not to be using time allocation, and it seems that things were so bad under the previous government that by being less bad, that's good enough for the Liberals. And I don't think that's good enough, really, but I can't resist the opportunity to ask the Minister of Fisheries a question about his quite excellent legislation. I am glad that C-68 is before us. We need it desperately, but I'm wondering if he's open to an amendment on a particular section that I was pleased and surprised to see, which is the barring of taking cetaceans into captivity. Would the minister be open to perhaps adding language so that the bill that's now stuck in the Senate, S-203, could have key elements incorporated into C-68? In other words, not just capturing, but keeping or importing.
The Honourable Minister of Fisheries.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank my colleague from Saanich Gulf Islands for her question, for her support of this legislation. Obviously, Mr. Speaker, as I've said many times, we would be open to working with her and all members of this House with respect to specific suggestions that would improve the legislation. I agree with her that the inclusion of the provisions around taking of cetaceans for captivity was something that was inspired by the work done by the Senate, by Bill S-203 and former Senator Wilfred Moore from the province of Nova Scotia, my colleague from Saanich Gulf Islands, having studied law at Dalhousie University, as did Senator Moore, would understand the importance of getting the right balance in terms of legislation that keeps up with what we think is the sentiment, the widely held sentiment of Canadians. With respect to her specific suggestion of those amendments, I would be happy to work with her to see how the intent of Bill S-203 and the substantive elements of Bill S-203 could be incorporated into amendments in the Fisheries Act, and I would look forward to having that conversation with her and any other colleague.